The month of May was no doubt a blast for mobile gaming, but with June around the corner, we have got a lot to look forward to. Hello friends, this is Mobile, and here are over 18 next level mobile games that are on the way to Android and iOS you need to know about. So, taking a #1 spot, we've got the hidden ones, and that's right, after almost a full year of nothing, we were starting to wonder where this thing even went, but folks finally just dropped a new trailer. And yeah, it is looking every bit as crazy as we hoped it would be, but first of all, for those of you unfamiliar, The Hidden Ones is actually based on the Outcast, the anime show. It is a martial arts RPG with some of the smoothest animations we have seen to ever come around on mobile gaming. It is still one of the most promising action games on the platform, and after this latest trailer, the hype is officially back now. There's one problem, for better or worse. Developers, however, didn't reveal a release date, although we think this is how they're gonna approach with new updates in the following days. With that being said, Honor of Online Next looks like it's actually coming back with absolutely zero interest in playing small. So this is a massive sci-fi MMO third-person shooter. It's actually built around large-scale fiction warfare and MiG battles, including aerial combat, whereas instead of just locking you into one role, it lets you switch classes on the fly and turn the whole battlefield in your favor, depending on how skilled you are. Like for a minute, you're blasting from range, the next you're piloting a MiG right in the middle of a 100-player conflict. Here's the thing, if it delivers on its scale, we think Honor of Online Next could easily become one of the biggest MMO launches of 2026, right next to behemoths like Warframe, specifically for players craving some good PvP and some nice, decent sci-fi. Check it out, it's actually coming out in about 2 weeks. Then it hit me. Now guys, Sea of Remnants is apparently coming to mobile as well. Well, right off the bat, Sea of Remnants, like, genuinely the kind of game that shows up out of nowhere, makes every other mobile game look garbage. It was revealed during PlayStation State of Play for a reason. NetEase and Joker Studio are actually going absurdly hard here. So you play as this puppet-like sailor with no memories, sailing across oceans, recruiting, fighting, slowly uncovering whatever nightmare happened in the world in the first place. And besides the story, it just right now looks like a AAA that accidentally wandered onto phones and decided to embarrass the entire platform. There's one problem, we're not even sure if this game will eventually deliver to mobiles by the end of 2026.
Gifted with a few secret weapons of your own.
G.O.R.E was actually supposed to be coming out yesterday through Crunchyroll. It's probably going through some difficulties and there's no updates, but when it comes to mobile games, slight delays are expected. So we're going to be seeing how things turn in the next few days. Now for those of you who missed it, G.O.R.E comes from that old school mindset where the goal is just simple as it can be. Walk around, look cool, and just smash everything into pieces. There's no filler, no systems overload, it's just slashing. It's like God of War and Devil May Cry and Long Lost Brother. The only thing is that if the performance holds up, this could feel crazy on mobile. On the other hand, Reverse Collapsive is legitimately one of those ambitious projects currently on the horizon when it comes to mobile games. It is set in Girl Frontline's universe. It's actually posed as a tactical third-person shooter in this bleak future where humanity is barely hanging out and these mysterious threads are spreading across war-torn regions where you are coming in. And you play as one of the Gifted, these elite operatives sent into hostile zones to investigate, survive, and fight alongside other players in these co-op and PvE missions. This game is in fact built on Unreal Engine 5, it's aiming for a much bigger scale than most mobile shooters, and it already does feel like one of those projects that could either become something special or probably disappear into development limbo, which we are, without a doubt, hoping for the first one. So it took a few years, but for those of you who missed it, Caravan SandWitch is finally hitting Android and iOS, and it is happening sooner than you think. The rumor that we heard about the game like last October, November, I don't remember, were totally true, and developers are going all the way in to deliver this August. There's going to be a free playable demo to decide if this is something you'd want to invest your time into or not. Just keep in mind, this game is strictly an adventure with a Metroidvania-styled exploration. A super enjoyable game, but it's just sort of a neutral in pace with a nice little cozy narrative on site. Check it out, there's a lot of gameplay showcases of it on PC and consoles on YouTube. Just a quick reminder for those of you missed it, Whirlwind's Meat just dropped its biggest expansion, the legendary Imperial Palace. And it's probably one of the most important locations in ancient China. It is just brimming with political schemes, secrets, enemies, and just thousands of NPCs living inside the walls. Beyond the story content, now you get new quests, exploration opportunities, new ones, and in fact, the old movie, The Drunken Master's director, joined the project as a combat consultant. Anyway, if you're already playing Whirlwind's Meat, this DLC is easily one of the biggest reasons yet to jump back into its beautiful open world adventure. Check it out. Going down to number 8, we've got the one and only Warhammer Boltgun, which is now actually coming to Android and iOS, and is also a little bit retitled to Boltgun Boom. Simply put, this is in fact one of the finest old school boomer shooters ever made that honestly I think it fits the platform even better than expected. So if you like fast offline shooting games where the answer to every problem is just shoot harder, this already looks way promising. The whole thing just leans all the way into retro, chunky pixel art visuals and some super aggressive combat that really feels closer to classic Quake era and games such as Heretic than, say, modern first-person shooters. Check it out in case you missed it, it's actually coming out later on in the year. You know that moment when a teaser trailer makes you sort of sit up and think about your bank account? Well, here's the thing, Spine is probably that sort of project, and it's actually finally confirmed for mobiles with a window. The thing is, Spine's been legitimately cooking for years. It's actually delayed enough to be worrying, but not cynical yet, and when it lands, it could be one of those action games people reference for like the next decade, whether if it comes out to mobile or not. The game is an old school beat 'em up mashed with modern tech and a tad inspired by Sifu and a little bit of Cyberpunk 2077. There's no loot, no life service tank, just combat with good camera. It is coming out for all platforms late 2026. Going down to number 10, we've got Fate Trigger. It is, however, gone through multiple access phases and betas that has so far pulled in hundreds of thousands of players worldwide. We think this game is just shaping up to be way more than just another battle royale, not only because it's based on the anime, but the abilities, the heroes, a mix of quickfire modes and rank competition is just aiming to sort of fuse Apex Legends with the anime-drenched presentation to make it look much cooler. So at Gamescom earlier this year, we were shown some new characters alongside vehicles, motorcycles, and SUVs. They're definitely aiming to build a community for casual play and esports as well. Anyway, Fate Trigger could be 2026's surprise battle royale obsession. Earlier this year, we were also blessed with another AAA RPG, and it was called Silver Palace. In fact, Silver Palace was initially revealed just over a year ago and sort of went under the radar and you could say the shadow of other projects. Even then, it felt sort of unreal. So the thing is that Silver Palace is actually an open world action RPG. It's set in a gothic Victorian era that absolutely commits to it bit. You play as a detective in a society powered by corruption. There's lots of cult activity, rich people doing unforgettable things, and it's definitely got its own uniqueness. Silver Palace is right now aiming Android and iOS. We're not sure how and why, or even when, but it is looking mighty fine right now. Coming up behind that at number 12, we've got My Time and Sandrock Mobile. I have previously said it will happen years ago. Lots of people hated me for saying that, or speculating it, but right now it seems to be in pretty good shape and undergoing the English version for a global release by the end of June. So you can go and use the links down in the description for the Chinese version through the Apple Store though. It is also on TapTap, but unless you've got a good translator app and a VPN, we don't really recommend it. Either way, if you missed it, My Time at Sandrock is just like My Time at Porsche, but it is prettier. It's got better graphics, better customization, storyline, everything. It is definitely one of the best mobile ports as it is in its current state, although it is taking you a whopping 12 gigabytes of storage. Down to number 13, we've got Ungodly. Ungodly is actually one of the oldest in line to be making its way around here, and so far shaped to be one of the more interesting RPGs that's arriving in the next few weeks. Ungodly is, in fact, coming from developers behind Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and it's also set in a dying world where an unstoppable force known as the Devouring is consuming everything in its path. So it's got story. And instead of relying on idle mechanics, well, Ungodly focuses more on active combat. The atmosphere, the monster designs, the art direction all give it a pretty good uniqueness and identity. We think this is definitely one to keep in mind for the coming weeks. Check it out in case you missed it, they've just released a new trailer for it. Going further with number 14, we've got Gothic Classic. Now, we've got two Gothics in the making right now, one for mobile, the classic version, and the Gothic 1 remake, which might also make its way to Android and iOS. We're not sure. Gothic Classic's heading to Android and iOS for the first time. It's bringing the 20-year-old legend to mobile later this year. And for those of you who do know, this was originally released in 2003 and became a cult favorite because of the open pace, the tough progression system, the deep story within this prison colony. It's been many years ever since, but the mobile version is arriving alongside the upcoming Gothic Remaster, Gothic Remake for PC and consoles. However, the release focuses on preserving the original experience while adapting it for touchscreen controls. And yeah, well, apparently this July we're gonna have a chance to revisit one of this genre's earliest classics on mobile. Going down to number 15, we've got Anemo. Anemo might actually be one of the first monster-catching games in years that doesn't feel like it was actually grown in sort of a laboratory trying to clone Pokemon for like the 500th time. It looks familiar, true. It's got the cute creatures, the open world, the elemental battles, the usual stuff. Yet the game lets you fuse with your monsters mid-fight and just turn the whole battlefield into a hybrid where you directly control the creatures yourself. And that one simple mechanic alone completely changes a lot of things. Visually, on the other hand, the game looks super polished. The animations, the world design, the combat effects. We think if Paw Print Studio actually sticks the landing here, Anemo could end up becoming one of the biggest MMO, or rather mobile monster collecting games in many years. Now, with that being said, The Walking Dead Aftermath is also coming to Android and iOS. It is, in fact, a mobile exclusive. If you missed it here, it's just a quick mention. It's got a roguelike loop set in the Walking Dead universe. We're going to be pushing through the series' locations like Woodbury, Alexandria, scavenging, fighting, dealing with random upgrades to can either save your run or just ruin it depending on your luck, apparently. Then, between runs on the side, you get to do base building where you're upgrading, managing survivors, etc. So yeah, it's got that mix of high-risk runs and also the slow recovery grind that keeps pulling you back in. Check it out, it's coming to Android and iOS sometime later this year. Quick mention over here for those of you missed this one as well. The Warhammer Showcase, or rather just the Warhammer Showcase in general, we didn't have just the Warhammer Boltgun and the Tacticus. Warhammer Survivors is basically game workshops looking at vampire survivors and going, well yeah, give us that, but then in our universe. This gem's on its way to Android and iOS. We're not sure when, but it's officially announced and folks did launch its mobile trailer. Honestly, if you already lost weeks of your life to vampire survivors, we think Warhammer Survivors is probably even more dangerous in potential. Check it out, in case you missed it, it'll also be a paid game. And of course, last but not least, we've got a tiny wonder. Although, well, at this point, I want you to take this with a massive grain of salt because a mobile version is still just a rumor. But if it does happen, well, this could easily become one of the coziest games of 2026 on Android. So the story is here you play as a traveler, a pig, that's, spending a quiet night under the full moon, only to stumble into a series of small mysteries hidden throughout this specific valley. In fact, the whole game revolves around exploration, puzzle solving, helping strangers, making campfires and coffees, and simply just enjoying the atmosphere. There's no combat, no pressure, no horror, just a little beautiful adventure that feels like a warm summer night.
Rotuka Koranchi, Falumak Hokre Oritoma. Takarun Kao Dokuishi, Washikotan.
Anyway, thanks for watching, really hope you enjoyed, and let me know which ones you're actually hyped about.